Good evening. It's a Wednesday, the 27th of August, 2025. The day is about to come to an end. And right before the day gets to an end, we end it with you right here on Diamond TV through the show called Diamond Live, where we break down the biggest news stories of the day and also speak with the various newsmakers. Welcome to the show. My name is Chimweka Andrew.
Well, the month is about to end. We are remaining about 3 days to go before we clock into the month of September, a month that we are going to officially begin the countdown to the 2021 general elections. Some updates that you need to look out for as well as you continue enjoying Diamond TV Zambia. My name is Andrew Mwansa, and tonight promises to be a big and an interesting show.
Yes, quite an interesting show because we'll be speaking with the Kwacha Member of Parliament, Mr. Charles Mulenga. He's been making quite the news the last couple of days, especially coming through from the weekend. 24th of August was a Sunday. President Hakainde Hichilema was on the Copper Belt in Kitwe, to be precise, narrowing it down to Kwacha East in the Kwacha constituency, where Mr. Charles Mulenga is Member of Parliament. And wow, quite the fateful day it was for him, where he was being introduced to congregants in the constituency, and they were being asked if they know who he is, and quite the jeers we heard from that.
I don't know. I have a problem with Honorable Elisha Matambo, a very big problem. I'll demonstrate why and how I have a problem with him, because I didn't think it was necessary for him to ask whether the people know him, the Member of Parliament, because it's an area Member of Parliament for Kwacha. I don't know in what capacity he was, wanting to reintroduce the Member of Parliament to his own people, and I don't know if that was a correct representation of, the current state of politics on the Copper Belt in terms of him being known by those congregants, because they seem to suggest that they don't know him. But who am I to speak on this when he himself is going to tell us, he believes that those that say they don't know him were paid, but we'll find out paid by who.
Well, exactly. I mean, that's a clip that has gone viral courtesy of the Sun Media group, and widely shared, and brought so many conversations around the popularity of the man in question, Mr. Charles Mulenga, who will be joining us this evening. But I guess it's also broadened to the different constituencies in our country, and how well we as constituents know our members of Parliament. But that's something we'll be talking about soon. But remember, you can also interact with us via the Diamond TV online Facebook page, where we are streaming live. But before we get into the interview, we take a look at Today in a Snap. One of the stories from today, well, yet again, former President Edgar Lungu continues being in the news, his burial, that is. And what we got not so long ago is that the South African government say that they hope the Constitutional Court's decision to decline hearing a direct appeal by former President Edgar Lungu's family against the repatriation of his body will bring finality to the matter and allow Mr. Lungu to be buried in Zambia. So what we got is that the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, did speak with journalists and say that his government is optimistic that the Zambian government and the Lungu family will agree on the burial arrangements, and saying that from the beginning, South Africa has encouraged dialogue between the two parties.
Well, that is true. Former President Lungu died on June the 5th, 2025, but debate over his burial site remains and resolved up until now. On August 26th, 2025, the Lungu family spokesperson Makebi Zulu confirmed that the family had been approached by the Zambian government for negotiations on the matter. Secretary of the Cabinet, also Patrick Kangwa, did, who apparently is the one who is leading, the negotiations team, said government intends to give Mr. Lungu a dignified send-off, befitting a former head of state. Also, in the statement that we got yesterday from Makebi Zulu, he had expressed disappointment over some of the remarks that President, President HH has been making, especially regarding President Edgar Lungu. One of the, remarks that he condemns, and he feels that this then also just gets to undo things that have been done in the background, is when he, asserts that President Lungu didn't willfully hand over power, in the 2021. General elections. There's difficulties in him handing over power, but also he dispelled the assertion initially yesterday that there was no talks whatsoever, but he did mention that yes, there's intentions, of the government to, to approach and speak to the Lungu family. But I think what we are getting also from South Africa is that they have the idea that President Lungu must be buried in Zambia, and the hope that this decision from the Constitutional Court will allow for the two parties to really bring finality to this debate and be able to agree, on something that is a both win to win, and we hope that this is done soon. Earlier on today in the morning, we were privileged to speak with a spokesperson of the Lungu family, Makebi Zulu, also spoke to that. They're not adamant on him being buried in South Africa. But if something could be, an agreement and an arrangement could be reached that, both parties agree with, then we hope that that will bring finality to this issue.
That's what the hope is, and I bet even for the family, that's the hope that they will reach common ground with the government of the Republic of Zambia, but the South African government in this case making clear what their position is. I think there's been a lot of also talk on what is the South African government thinking during this particular time, because some of their citizens have expressed themselves, and people are looking forward to also hearing what the position is of the South African government. But they've made it quite clear, and it's something that I guess will resonate with both parties, because what they're also seeking to see is common ground being reached here. I know one of also the trends from today has been around former Defense Minister Geoffrey Mwamba getting to meet with the family of the late former president, and eventually becoming quite emotional, breaking down. I know that also that did come up from today, but also this also traces back generally, Andrew, to even just what the state is of the party at the moment, because just recently we saw the faction Secretary General, Mr. Raphael Nakachinda, making it quite clear to members of the party that right now they should put their ambitions, especially their presidential ambitions, on hold. They should put them aside until the former president is put to rest. And I know recently again, the acting president of the party, Mr. Given Lubinda, has also been in the news after being quoted for making a statement around who exactly is eligible, capable of leading the Tonse Alliance. And
he was very factual, because I've read their party, their constitution as an alliance. That's what it says. That is what it says. That the
Tonse Alliance chairperson needs to come through from the Patriotic
Front. It says that. It's and. I think people now want to shoot Lubinda for saying what is enshrined in their constitution. That is true. That is very true. That the party that the chairman of the alliance will automatically assume the presidency of the Tonse. The way the Tonse constitution was crafted, it was a special purpose vehicle for Edgar Lungu to contest the elections. Remember that after the Patriotic Front, had a fallout with the United Kwacha Alliance, they needed to find another special vehicle, because they didn't want situations that happened in the UKA to happen in a different alliance. So the way they couched the constitution was for it to put safeguards to the presidency and guarantee Edgar Lungu as a sole candidate for the elections of 2026. And when Lubinda speaks to those facts, he's not lying. That is what the purpose was, an objective. Yes, of course. And I find it laughable, because everybody knows from the alliance that is what the issue was about.
Especially that the PF has been the anchor political party. Of course, the New Congress Party being the special purpose vehicle. I know that within the alliance, again, we have people like Mr. Sean Tembo, who has been he's a spokesperson of the alliance, and he's been quite vocal in issues around leadership within the Tonse Alliance, him and a few others as well. But still, even just on looking at the chairperson, who's going to assume that particular role of the chairperson, it's something we've talked about. One name that keeps coming up, the name of the daughter to former President Edgar Lungu, Tasila Lungu Mwansa, who, as we know, is a member of the Patriotic Front. She's the member of Parliament for Chawama constituency, and her name continues to be flaunted as a possible presidential candidate for the Patriotic Front and possibly even leader of the Tonse Alliance.
The Tonse Alliance. I don't know about that, and I think it's not the first time, Chimweka, that I'm saying this. She has not expressed interest. She has not given herself to that highest level of leadership, and I don't know how that could play out, but there are senior members of the Patriotic Front that I think that are fit enough, not to say that she's not fit enough, but there are more senior members of the Patriotic Front that are senior enough to run for office, senior and seniority, not in terms of age, but I think that have been in the space for a very long time, that I think are best fit to run for presidency. And so far I think we've seen so far that the people that have expressed interest, one of them being Honorable Brian Munduwile, that has been flaunted, by several Patriotic Front members. We've also seen Honorable Grefford Monde, the gentleman that we had just a few days ago here on Diamond Live. Those are some of the people that the Patriotic Front are trying to entertain to the public, so that people could be able to debate. But also we've seen that political parties, different other political parties, have expressed interest as well to join the Tonse Alliance, one of them being the Socialist Party. And we know the status of the Socialist Party when it comes to joining of the Tonse Alliance. They haven't been admitted officially into the Tonse Alliance. But also we know people like KBF as well, who has got a story to tell, and I'm sure he's going to tell his story once we bury Edgar Lungu.
That's been one of the stories. But another story, Andrew, very quickly as we take a look at today, the snap coming through from Livingston, where we saw 15 stray dogs that were shot down by the Livingston City Council. So they had enforced a dog tie-up order in line with the Control of Dogs Act Cap number 247 of the laws of Zambia, which permits the destruction of the stray, unregistered and unvaccinated dogs. So prior to this operation, dog owners were cautioned against non-adherence to ongoing registration exercise, which began in January 2025, and the local authority further cautioned against the roaming of dogs. I don't know how you feel about this, Andrew, but this has gotten mixed reactions from members of the public, especially those who are pet lovers, those who are dog lovers. I don't know if you've ever owned a dog. You don't seem to be a dog owner as far as I know you, but many have really felt bad about this and are not very happy with this particular decision. But it's enshrined in our laws, and action had to be taken. But still, we have people who feel that there could have been more done to avoid this. It also, still in the southern province, we heard the story in Kalomo where about a farmer lost about 70 of his cattle. Yeah. But even that, what also came through from the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries is that there are provisions that support that. But we saw a number of members of the public reacting to it. What we could clearly see from an emotional perspective, I guess sympathizing with the man who lost his cattle there, feeling that more could have been done, maybe empathy should have been applied. And in a similar situation here, we've seen a number of people react the same.
That's true. I think what's important here and what the key word here is that these are stray dogs that have been killed, and the authority is still conducting this exercise, and that's the reason for why the council has appealed to dog owners to register, vaccinate, and properly restrain their dogs in line with the law to avoid similar actions, in future. Every time we speak about dogs, Chimweka, I'm reminded of the incident that happened in PHI right here in Lusaka, where, an 11-year-old boy was eaten by a dog, and I think since then I have really, little to say about dogs, and from then I don't like dogs because of what happened to that little boy, and so I'm conflicted, especially on this matter, because I would stand that I support the.
Do you like human beings?
I love human beings. I don't like
kill
dogs.
Too.
They kill what?
Human beings kill fellow human beings. So I don't know if your feeling towards them has changed.
No. But it's a different situation.
In fact, human beings have expected the 5 senses, but they still go ahead and take other people's lives.
Well, I think it's the situation.
So maybe you should change your feeling towards human beings too.
I can't change my feelings towards human beings. Well, it depends with the context, but in line with what we're talking about here, the moment that story came about of that young boy who was left lifeless, and so many other stories of people that have been brutally attacked by dogs and have not made it, I think they just evoke a certain emotion within me that makes me hate dogs. I don't want to say forever, but makes me just hate the idea of keeping dogs.
Because of that one incident?
Of that 1-2 incidents that have happened so far.
And what about the several incidents
of humans?
where people have been murdered?
Well,
by fellow humans.
Well, it's also a different emotion that has been. You can't underplay the importance of a human being. All right, whether a human being is killed by a fellow human being or an animal, I think a human being remains a human being. But I think when we talk about animals in this context, because human beings are also animals that don't think. In this regard, dogs, for me, Chimweka.
So you just said that don't think, but those who think still go ahead and take other people's lives. They think about it.
They think about it. You know what, we've got an interview with the Kwacha Member of Parliament. We have so many questions for him, and you too could be part of the program by calling us on the number that is on the screen. But also, remember, you can take advantage of our social media platform. That's at Diamond TV Online. There's a stream live. You can drop your comments in the comment section. Take a break. When we're back, we speak to the Member of Parliament from Kwacha constituency.
Imagine a big stage, music and lights, people singing and dancing all day and night.
Enjoy all the nutritional benefits of real milk with Maxi Move flavored milk, rich in calcium, vitamin D, and protein. Let Maxi move you.
Are you thinking of where to buy credible and secure land in Zambia? Makeni Heights is the place. We are situated about 15 kilometers south of Lusaka. We offer premium serviced plots in a gated community with all-weather roads, access to water, a sewer network and electricity. You can start building immediately you pay 30% of the plot price. Don't be left out. Call us today on 0977 771898 or 0957 944469, or better still, send us an email at makeniHeights@gmail.com. Visit our website at www.makeniHeights.com or come in person to plot number 88 off Makeni Road, Lusaka.
Oh, what a bad day. When everything is bright and golden. Bad day. The sun is shining in the mighty morning. Bad day. Without my family in that moment, that day would have been a bad day.
Yeah, everyone's bad day is my bad day. But guess what? When my banja comes together, there are no bad days.
When you are there, you bring the shine. Banja washing powder, the family detergent.
Welcome to the world of casino games on 1xBet. High stakes, even higher rewards. Are you ready to win? Casino games on 1xBet. Play big, win bigger.
Milk.
I'm supposed to test these three, and I'm supposed to choose which one is better, right?
Milk is milk, I mean.
I think there's a difference.
I think E ni best.
I'll go with blue.
I love this one. This is my favorite.
It's sweet.
It's
satisfying, I should say.
Makes my throat relax.
More richer. This is how milk is supposed to taste.
That's excellent.
I don't even know the name, but I love it.
Wow, I didn't know it.
Twin cow. No wonder.
Twin cows. Twin cows.
Wow, the packaging is so nice, eh?
Double the cows, double the taste.
Twin cows. Yummy.
Twin Cows full cream long life milk. Taste the difference.
Trade Kings, improving lives.
Why was his family describing you as leftovers?
I just thought it wasn't really necessary. Like, it's just my life. Let me just keep on going. I'll just go to school despite of whatever used to happen, despite of the hatred which I kept in my heart. I once thought of that. Maybe I should just die. I followed that. Those thoughts used to click on my mind. Accept the past, and also to just to be free to let it out, because you don't know whether the problem you're facing, the problem you used to go through or you're going through, is a solution to somebody else out there.
Unit Turtle Industries is the king of awards. No. Turtle Awards is all about making you the king, the queen, the winner, the champion, with trophies, cups, medals, shields, figurines, all down to quality and perfection just for you. We also produce excellent foundation stones, signage, date stamps, and company seals. For your organization, event, tournament, team, lounge, contest, competition, graduation, and all sorts of awards and championships, get in touch with us on 0211-847175 or WhatsApp 09755795558. Email info@unitturtle.com. Visit the website www.unitturtle.com. Turtle Awards, a way of appreciation by Unit Turtle Industries.
1, 2, 3, go!
As easy as 1, 2, 3, and all my clothes are squeaky clean.
Quick to remove the dirt and stains and the fresh sweet maids.
Never seen nothing like it. That's exactly why I like it.
So whether color white or black, it brings a new right back.
Here's what to look out for on the Diamond TV Presenter Search this Sunday.
We'd like you to listen to our idea of spaces.
Go ahead.
He did give us a demo, and we're calling it News Not for Serious People. the video, please. Like you had mentioned earlier, X is a different platform from any other platform, from Facebook, from YouTube, and it has a higher class of people that are there. So our demographic was basically the students who would also want to understand.
Is that what you're saying, part of your strategy in the slides?
Was supposed to.
Huh? This is news not for serious people. We don't want Jonah in the tie, in the whatever. You go and put George on a news desk in the studio with the tie.
Why on earth was Nelton even starting this presentation? Because he was so boring. Just talking and talking and talking and talking and some more talking.
Don't miss the Diamond TV Presenter Search this Sunday at 19 hours.
Get clean and affordable energy? How can you avoid plastic in your daily life? What kind of jobs are there for you in a green economy? Echo Africa shows you people and ideas that improves our lives and the world we live in. Get inspired. Echo Africa.
Everyone out there knows that our confidence comes from the way we look and feel. And because we all have different skin types, we frequently need a unique solution for all our skin types every day. This is why MediHerb introduces MediHerb Turmeric Soap with turmeric extract and argan oil that has anti-inflammatory and antibacterial benefits. MediHerb Saffron Soap with saffron and almond oil, which are vitamin-enriched with antioxidant properties. Trust in MediHerb Ayurvedic Herbal Soap with 18 herbs and natural oils to take care and revitalize your skin every day.
Welcome to an electrifying new epic of agricultural shopping. Nestled in the bustling Lusaka showgrounds, the Nemchem Agri Division is more than just a store. It's the lighthouse of advancement, searching for top-notch biosecurity, cleaning and pest control solutions. Attention! Local businesses, your quest ends here. Get ready for a thrilling journey in agricultural retail. The future begins at Nemchem Agri Division, your supermarket for superior quality. The revolution of agricultural shopping starts now. It's about empowering your business and nurturing your community. Call us today or visit our shop at the Lusaka Showgrounds.
Everyone wonders why I'm always jovial and happy. Every day, every time. At work, even under pressure. At play, always under control. Even with Bay, I always shine. And today, I get to share my secret companion, Best Kombucha. Gives me the energy but also boosting my immune system as I go by my day-to-day activities.
Toaleta mami, we best kombucha so nwemo. Toaleta daddy, we best kombucha so nwemo. Iye nani best kombucha. Best kombucha. Iye nani mwa kombucha.
Now you know.
Best kombucha. Iye nani best kombucha. You drink best kombucha.
Welcome back to Diamond Live. We apologize for the prolonged break. We have been trying to connect with our guest this evening, who is the Kwacha Member of Parliament, Mr. Charles Mulenga, who has been in the news after what we saw over the weekend, where congregants at the United Church of Zambia, UCZ, Kwacha East Congregation in Kitwe, denying knowing their Member of Parliament, Mr. Charles Mulenga, in the presence of President Hakainde Hichilema, who was attending a church service there. This raised several concerns about his work within the constituency and what he's been able to do since he was elected in a by-election that happened in October 2022. And we were hoping that he would join us virtually via Zoom, but we do have him via phone call this evening. Mr. Charles Mulenga, good evening.
Thank you for hosting me on Diamond TV. I'm grateful.
Let's get straight into it. I mean, in hindsight, what are your reflections of what happened on that day, 24th of August, 2025, in the UCZ church?
Thank you so much. And I'm greeting you in the studio. I trust and hope that all of you are fine. What happened on the last Sunday, where we had a church service, and our head of state was in attendance. It was quite regrettable, I must confess. Of course, during introductions, we had people that said they didn't know me as a member of parliament. But of course, it took me by surprise because the people that elected me were drawn from the constituents, including from the congregants that were in that particular church. So for people to come out in the manner that they did, I was taken aback because I've been to that particular church, to congregate previously. So I was quite surprised and shocking to hear that they do not know me. But what I can simply say is that in politics, of course, we have propaganda, at all times from maybe people that may not like you. Given the scenario where I congregated at that particular church, for people to come out in that same manner, it leaves a lot of questions hanging. If they are claiming that they don't know me, then who did they vote for? Did they vote for a ghost? The answer is no. So we see that it's only politics that were at play in that particular church.
So now, Mr. Mulenga, would you say it was really politics at play, especially within the church, also known as the House of God, House of the Lord, where people get together and need to be honest? Can politics really be at play, even within a church setup as it was on Sunday?
Your voice is muffled, actually. I can't get you clearly. What are you saying?
Are you able to hear me better?
Okay.
My question is around the chances of politics being at play within a church. One would think that perhaps if it was a different kind of setup, if it was a rally perhaps, but this is within a church setup. People are there to congregate, and this is known as the House of the Lord. Can it really be politics at play, considering the setup?
If you look at the political direction in our country, anything is possible. We have got a situation in the country where I think morals have been overstepped. And we can't throw out politics at a church setup. And this is why I'm saying, if the congregants actually mention that they don't know me, and yet I've been to that particular church, and I even made some donations toward the same project, the same building they are building. So how come they should claim that they don't know me? So that is what I'm referring to, and it leaves a lot of questions to be answered, because if I've never been to that church and they simply put it plainly to say they don't know me, then that is a different scenario. But I've been to that particular church, and the people in that particular church are my voters, and they voted for me. So it is quite, surprising that my voters we don't know our MP.
I don't know what you mean if you say your voters. I don't know how you can ascertain who voted for you and who did not vote for you. But don't you think they meant they don't know you in the context of you being an absentee member of parliament?
I can't say I'm an absentee, because right now I'm in the constituents, and each time I'm in the constituents, I go around. I go around churches, I go around markets, I go around the trading places, shops. I'm all over the place, and also inspecting completed and uncompleted projects. So I'm also commissioning a number of projects in my constituents.
There's two things that play here. MP, that every time the president goes to an event, usually the president is flaunted by members of his party. In this sense, the Upnd, and obviously the people that were present there were, number one, genuine members of the church and members of the Upnd. Who, between the two, do you think, did what they did on that mature day?
Well, from the information that is trickling through, there were two sets of people that were congregating. From the bigger church, which is a completed building structure, there were a lot of people in that particular, building. And then there is where we were congregating from, together with the president and the other ministers. That place, of course, when the president is traveling, he travels with a lot of people. And what happened was a lot of people that were supposed to congregate there, I think they left a chance to other people that came to, be with the president, to congregate together with the president. Because there were a lot of other people outside that were standing just by the door side. And these, afterwards, they claimed that as we came around 07 hours, they found the seats already occupied, meaning that the owners, the congregants at that particular church, could not find themselves inside the church building.
So it means, therefore, that the ones that said they don't know you are Upnd members.
That I wouldn't know, because
they came with the
there
president.
were so many people there.
They came
I
with the
wouldn't
president.
know whether they were Upnd or they were from the opposition camp. I wouldn't know. But what I was surprised was to hear that I was not known, and when I'm a serving member of parliament, I've been to that particular church.
But further, Mr. Mulenga, what is interesting is that the Copperbelt Province Minister, in his words, says, translated, says, it's important for people to know they're a member of parliament, and decides to introduce you. Isn't that in itself already an indication that, even from the Copperbelt Minister, he felt that he needed to introduce you to people within your constituency? Isn't that an indication that perhaps he also felt that you're not that known within your constituency?
Not at all. Usually, by standard, whenever dignitaries of that nature are actually in attendance, including other important government officials, senior government officials, and they are visiting a locality, away maybe from Lusaka, or even within Lusaka, they normally like to introduce, as per practice and as per tradition, they will be able to introduce those that are in the delegation accompanying the president. It's no trend, it's a normal practice. It has been done all over the country. So he was not wrong to introduce the delegation, starting from, I think, as low as councillors, members from the ruling party at district level, going to the DCs, the permanent secretary, and us as members of parliament. There were 3 members of parliament who were in attendance, and also the 2 cabinet ministers that were there, including our colleagues from State House that accompanies the president at all times.
And it's interesting. It's interesting. It's interesting you say that, because what is interesting from that is, in the clip that people has been widely circulated, there's a member of parliament from Chingola who was introduced, and he got cheers from the people who were present in the church, which was a different situation for you, who is a member of parliament within that particular constituency. How does a member of parliament from a totally different constituency get an applause from people in attendance, but you, who is from that constituency, get the jeers that we got there? Don't you think that also speaks into perhaps how people feel about you, whether it's whoever it could be really in that particular, in the audience at that particular time? Don't you think it speaks into their feelings towards you as a member of parliament, either because of your work or through whatever other reasons?
Look at this scenario. The member of parliament that was cheered is coming from
Chingola
district. Probably 50, 60 kilometers away from Kitwe. He was cheered. Does he operate from Kitwe? The answer is no. The member of parliament that operates from Kitwe, they say they don't know him, but they know somebody that does not operate from within Kitwe. That raises a lot of eyebrows, and that raises a lot of questions. How come a person that is all the time in the constituents, first and foremost, commissioning projects dotted across the whole constituents, and people claim they don't know him, and cheer someone who is miles and miles away? It raises a lot of questions. And even yourself, you can ask yourself this question twice.
Well, it does.
It's not possible,
well,
it doesn't add up.
Well, it does raise a lot of questions, especially to you, who is a politician in this regard. But I don't know if you're trying to underplay what happened, because, Honorable, the gravity of what happened is what has even caused us to discuss it, and you've been making headlines on TV, in newspapers, and whatever. People are talking about you. And what's much more denting, especially to your image, was because the Secretary General was present, the President was equally present, and this has sent some form of shivers in the political, in the political field. Don't you think this dent that came onto your image will have, will have a lot of effects, especially as we go to next year's elections and your adoption?
There's nothing like that, my brother. As I've said, we are in politics. These issues, they normally take place for one simple reason. There is propaganda in the whole game of politics. So it is something that should not worry me, because I'm doing the work. I'm running around the constituents. I'm actually spearheading a lot of projects. So the works that I will do, the works that I'm performing, at the end of the day, they will speak for me. It's not a question of probably someone saying, I don't know you, but it's a question of delivery. is this MP capable of delivering? If the answer is no, then it becomes very difficult for that particular MP. But if an MP is delivering according to the mandate that I'm given,
but just still on Andrew's question, how confident are you that the president of the party, who's the Republican president, President Nijilema, and the Secretary General of the party, Mr. Batuke Mende, the CEO, who was also president, how confident are you that these two individuals understand, as you are saying, it's just politics at play, or they'll take it as the people expressing themselves in their presence, that they took the opportunity at that particular time to express themselves in their presence? How confident are you that they'll just see it as politics and consider adopting you in 2026?
Our president, including the party secretary general, they are seasoned politicians and they understand the dynamics in politics. Even what took place, I can't speak for them, but these are people that understands that in the environment right now where we are, there is a lot of politics at play. So these are things, probably I may put it as setbacks, small setbacks that could be at play, but it's not something that can give me sleepless nights. Because we see a lot of people, it's not me as MP for Kwacha that has gone through this. There's a lot where we hear certain MPs, they've been booed, they've been chased, and all that. So it is not something that we can lean on and say, this is the measuring stick, where you can simply put it the way you are putting it, that it may affect my adoption. Not at all. What will speak for me are the works. Am I doing the works according to, my agenda, or the agenda of the party, the agenda of the government? If I'm delivering, there is no problem. If I'm not delivering, then that is a different scenario altogether.
Paint to us a picture tonight, Honorable. What kind of feeling do people of Kwacha have towards you, Member of Parliament, and generally the Upnd being in power?
Come again?
Paint to us a picture of what type of feeling the the members of the people of Kwacha have towards yourself and the Upnd in government in general.
And maybe while you're at it, you can also just, you speak of delivering, maybe you can also just highlight what you'd say the people within the constituency are appreciating, or you feel that they should be appreciating since your election in 2022.
Well, first and foremost, you must understand that Copper Belt was predominantly PF. It was in the hands of our colleagues, the former ruling party. That is a fact that we should appreciate. My coming in was through a by-election in 2022. Remember, we had 5 MPs that were coming or drawn from PF, all of them. Right now, I'm the only current MP holding from the ruling party, the Upnd. So that background speaks a lot, that we have a lot of work to do in an area, in a territory, which was previously held by our colleagues, the PF, who are no longer in power. And, given that background, it shows a country that I've got a lot of work to do, to try to bring all the parties together, the opposition, including my own political party together, so that we can foster development. The environment right now is quite conducive because people have accepted that I'm the current MP from the ruling party in a territory that was previously dominated by, the opposition political party. But my coming in, I've embraced almost everyone, whether PF, whether SP, and all other political parties. I don't look at a political sphere. I don't look at a person coming from an opposition political party. I don't wear political lenses.
But Mr. Mulenga, sorry to cut you short. Maybe just for the sake of people to appreciate your work, what developmental projects would you point at that have taken place under your leadership since your election in 2022?
I was coming to that. You just cut me short. So given that background, I came into office in 2020, towards the end of 2022. I can safely say I've been in office for the last 2 years and a couple of months, probably 8 months. But I've done quite tremendously. The progress that I've made in the shortest period of time, 2 years and 8 months, is quite enormous. If you look at areas which had no clinics, I've managed to put up clinics. I've managed to put up police posts. I've managed to put up market shelters, very nice market shelters, standard ones, modern ones. I've managed to put up water reticulation. You know, we've dug boreholes in schools, we've done boreholes in markets and many other places. And also we've put up ablution blocks. And apart from that, we've done some classroom blocks, 1 by 4, 1 by 3. And in addition to that, we've supplied desks where our children can have a conducive learning atmosphere. Right now we are doing roads because we've procured these yellow machines. They came in last month and we are busy doing some roads across the constituency. So what was actually not there, they are now visible in my constituency, in almost all the 7 wards cut across the constituency. So people are able to see these developments and people are able to appreciate that these things that were not there, the Upnd government, under the able leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema, through the programs that they have brought, it has given development and it has brought development closer to the doorsteps of our communities.
Now,
the decentralization policy.
Now, Mr. Mulenga, also you mentioned earlier that you're coming through from an area that's predominantly has been known as a patriotic front stronghold, and your predecessor in this case is Mr. Joe Malanji, and we are aware, many know the story, the background leading to the by-election that we saw you winning after Mr. Joe Malanji's seat was nullified. The Patriotic Front still argue to this day that this seat was unfairly stolen from him by the current ruling party. And what seemingly stood out from this incident of what happened on Sunday is that this is a clear show that people still love Mr. Joe Malanji, still prefer Mr. Joe Malanji, or still recognize Mr. Joe Malanji as their preferred leader within the constituency, and not you who succeeded from him. Would you agree that Mr. Joe Malanji still holds great amount of popularity within the constituency you are Member of Parliament of right now?
Not really, and I cannot speak on his behalf. He did his work. And of course, if there are visible things that he did, well and good. My coming in to take over, I think there's a big difference, because as I indicated earlier on, people can now see visible infrastructure dotted across the constituency. And what is important is for us to put up these infrastructures because they facilitate development in an area like Kwacha. So the progress that I've made, you compare it to the progress that my predecessor made. I think it's the people that can, speak on my behalf. I think that comparison can be better come from the community members within Kwacha constituency, because they are able to see for themselves that there are certain things that were not in existence, which are now in existence. And I think that difference is there.
How are you managing to politically socialize with the residents of Kwacha? Because what we're being told on the ground is that they appreciate Malanji because of how he was a cheerful giver, and that many would say that he was a, he used to give a lot, and this current MP is not given as much as the Bonanza used to give. How are you shifting the mindset, of your people in Kwacha to politically socialize them differently now that the UPND is in office?
What is important, and especially when you look at the role of a member of parliament, is to bring development to his constituents. Of course, people would like a giver, the way you are putting it. But our policy, looking at our policy as members of parliament, we do not take pleasure to go out in the field, to go out in the community and dish out money. Because you give money to one particular person, tomorrow he will come back and ask you for more.
Don't you think that's a red flag in itself? Well, that's in principle what you're saying is right, but don't you think that's a red flag for itself? Because what people of Kwacha are saying was that in comparative terms, ababa MP ababako tabapela ba Malanji bale pela sana, but tampela tamaboko yali katila na tampela. That's what the people are saying.
Yeah, they can say so. They are entitled to such opinion. But what I can simply say is that we don't have enough resources to dish out. I'm better off with the little resources whenever I have to take to the community and do something that will actually benefit a large number of the community members than to give a few. I think that is counterproductive because, as I've indicated earlier on, I'll give a few. What more of the rest? So we don't want to go into that scenario where we start pleasing our constituents, because tomorrow I'll go and dip my hands into state coffers to go out and please the community members. What do we don't want.
What do you make of this school of thought? Different political analysts have weighed in and said that the race in 2026 is going to be easier for the presidency, but not for the members of parliament. Because obviously the presidency has no proper contender, and so it's going to be easier for him. But for you, the members of parliament belonging to the UPND, most of you are going to stumble, and most of you want to make it back to parliament. What do you make of such sentiments by political analysts?
That is the wrong notion altogether. Because in UPND, we've got a system. It's a 4-tier system, where when you are in a ballot, at a polling station, what you do is to give a vote for the all 4, candidates from one political party. If you start with the president, then it should go all the way up to the councillor, meaning there will be the president's vote, there will be the MP's vote, there will be the mayor's vote, council chairperson, and lastly there will be a councillor. So notions of that sort are just mere, myths, which should not be taken seriously. Otherwise, that is the standard practice, and this is why you saw that the president was given many votes, including members of parliament.
No, that's not true. Well, that's not true, Honourable, because in 2021, most of the members of parliament from the UPND didn't win the elections. You only won the by-elections, and that's the reason for why you won when you contested back in 2022. If what you're saying was the equation that people used in 2021, you could have been member of parliament in 2021 and not in 2022.
Well, if you look at that scenario, the president is coming from a background where he has tried several times to be where he is, and none of
seem to have lost the connection there with Mr. Charles Mulenga, who's the Member of Parliament for Kwacha constituency. But I mean, I think you're just about to respond to a very important point that you raised there, looking at issues of members of Parliament, how what the voting pattern was like in 2021, and what some of the projections have been ahead of 2026. But it also have been good to hear from him, seeing that it's his first time being a member of Parliament and seeing how things are. Because one thing that stands out, Andrew, is that sometimes people get to misunderstand the role of their member of Parliament. And sometimes people forget that the role of a member of Parliament is, as the name goes, they're a member of Parliament, and they'll spend a lot of time in the National Assembly, for example. We hear this thought sometimes, especially for those who live outside Lusaka and who make complaints saying our member of Parliament spends too much time in Lusaka, or spends a lot of time in Lusaka, but forgetting the fact that it's in Lusaka where the National Assembly is, and because of that, they will probably spend a lot of time there looking at issues of logistics. But the other concern is, that's one point we touched there on issues of giving and the expectation that has been created in many constituencies, where if a member of Parliament has to go to their constituency, they know that they have to part away with money, and sometimes
that's not true.
This may discourage some people from
that's true,
being visibly seen. But we've also seen some members of Parliament who've managed to balance, and that's the question we're about to ask Mr. Charles Mulenga there of the Kwacha constituency on how he's been able to do that, balancing his presence in the constituency and also in the National Assembly. Because we have certain members of Parliament who have seemingly been managing to do so, especially during this time that there's a break. For example, if we take a look at someone who's even a minister, because you'd think that because one is a minister, it would even be a bit more difficult for them.
The Choma Member of Parliament.
Choma Member of Parliament is spending time there.
But for his case, I could understand his case, because he's got so much competition there, and that's why he's always there.
But also, you can give another example, straight from the Copper Belt. I can give the example of the Mines and Minerals Development Minister, Mr. Pokawuswe. I think even just as early as today, you should have even some pictures of him. He was in his constituency going to address issues of water, because of these challenges, and he's been present, and he's been doing this for quite some time, balancing it off with his ministerial work. He just came through from Kansanshi mine there in Solwezi, doing some ministerial work there with the president, but still going back to the constituency, getting to interact as a member of Parliament, so not neglecting his responsibility there. And that's what has also been good to hear from how exactly Mr. Charles Mulenga is perhaps learning from this and seeing how he's able to balance his work as a member of Parliament, representing his people in the constituency, but also in the National Assembly, still representing them there.
We're down by 2 goals, Chimweka.
Oh no.
Second half, we hope that in the second half we bounce off. But we have been, underdogs are taking advantage of us. But I'm so confident that by the time 90 minutes is up, the tables would have turned upside down. Well,
I know. I saw that you received your football jersey from Fit Guide. I received mine as well just yesterday. I was wearing it earlier, but I'm not sure if I'm going to wear it back on after this show is done, considering the current situation. But we remain optimistic.
We remain optimistic, and Manchester United for life. Thank you so much for making time to be a part of tonight's edition of Diamond Live. Our guest was Member of Parliament for Kwacha constituency. We're weighing in on what happened over the weekend, where the people of his constituency seem to paint a picture that they don't know him. But he says that is politics at play. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Andrew Mwansa.
My name is Chimweka Andrew Mwansa. Enjoy the rest of your night. Stay tuned to Diamond TV.